Hey, I'm Tyler.
And I'm Katie.
You're listening to Not-Stalgia. I don't really have a good joke to open the podcast today, but can you believe that we paid money and our parents paid money for cardboard discs?
I'll tell you whose parents didn't pay money for cardboard discs. Mine.
So you didn't have a Pog?
No.
Were you aware of Pogs?
I think my neighbors had Pogs.
Okay, and then how did that enter your world? Were they like, hey, look at my Pogs?
No, I think sometimes we would inherit their toys because they were significantly older than us. They were maybe 10 years older, 8 to 10 years older than us. So we would inherit some of their stuff when they were done playing with it, and their clothes and stuff.
Yeah.
So we, I guess, had Pogs.
Do you remember what was on them?
Yeah, little characters and things like that. But we didn't know what to do with them. My sister and I had no idea what to do with them. So we would just kind of line them up and look at them and then put them back in the box.
That's what most kids did. There was a game which we will play, but I didn't even really play the game I can't remember playing it. I'm sure I did, but so now interesting that you had some hand-me-down Pogs. You missed out on so much of the culture of what was relevant in pop culture then. So are you looking at a Pog and not knowing who Bart Simpson is on the Pog?
Everyone knows who Bart Simpson is. He's that yellow person you're not allowed to watch.
Well, Kate, buckle in because Pogs have a rich history that I was not aware of until doing research for this episode. Our story starts in Japan during the Edo period.
Of course it does.
Do you know when that was?
No.
1603 was the beginning of the Edo period. It lasted a while. And I'm telling you about the Edo period in Japan because they played a game called Menko, also known as Betan, also known as Patchin. I don't know why it has three names, but it's mainly known as Menko. All right, and the way it worked was, it was a Japanese card game for 2 or more players, and the players would have little circular cards and some little rectangular cards. But these are so old, they were made of clay, or they were carved from wood. They predate modern printing techniques and paper. So you stack the cards, right? And then your opponent drops one of their cards onto your stack.
Okay. And
the idea is your cards are upside down in the stack when they drop the piece on. Any of your cards that flip face up, your opponent gets to claim. So that's it. You're dropping something onto a stack of cards. Whatever cards land face up, you take. Whoever takes more wins.
It's like marbles.
Kind of, yeah. All right? And, if you're playing for keeps, you then keep permanently your opponent's cards, which turns into a whole argument when you're playing Pogs as a kid if you're playing for keeps or not.
Gotcha.
Because you're liable to regret agreeing to play for keeps. Even back then, the discs and the cards that they would play with would have the equivalent of popular culture stuff on them for the time. So since it goes back so far in history, it's the earliest versions of Menko cards and discs had samurai on them, ninja on them. And then as time went on, then they have military imagery, and then after World War II, it goes from military stuff to manga characters, baseball players, stuff that was popular in Japan in the post-war era, which totally naturally progresses to Bart Simpson and Ronald McDonald being on what become Pogs later. In 1885, prior to that point, there was a policy where if you lived in Japan, you couldn't immigrate to Hawaii. That got lifted. So in the late 1800s, a lot of Japanese immigrants moved to Hawaii and obviously brought their cultural things with them, including... Why couldn't they go? I don't know why. I actually didn't... Sorry.
All this research and you didn't look that piece up? That sounds extremely juicy.
I'm going to turn the tables on you and argue. You normally tell me I go on too long in this segment, so the fact that I didn't figure that out, I really don't know why. I apologize. Menko comes to Hawaii, right? It becomes extremely popular because by 1920, 43% of Hawaiian residents were from Japan. So, the Japanese took over Hawaii, in a big way, culturally. That's another key part of the story. There's, 7 bullet points I gotta get through to make this make sense. So that's 2. Number 3, milk, Kate. You know how milk used to be delivered?
Yeah.
The milkman bottles. Well, that only started in 1785, and Vermont was the first place we know of that had milk delivery. Okay, and the milkmen wouldn't bring bottles with them. They would bring a big thing of milk and pour it into your bottle. So they would, you'd fill your own jug with the milkman's milk. But in 1878, the first, what we think of as a milk bottle now, was patented. It's called the Lester milk jar. Milk bottles became super popular by the end of the 1880s. And one of the common elements of their design was this small cardboard cap called a milk cap that sat on top. Okay, so you'd put this cap on and then seal the lid. They had those little mechanisms that make the lid go on and stay on. So that's what milk caps are, and that's going to be important because that's the other name for Pogs, milk caps. kids would take the milk caps and play Menko with them because they were a disc. They were really prevalent because everybody got milk delivery. So there were all these milk caps around. So kids started playing Menko with the milk caps. They also started playing a game where you would flip the cap and try to get the cream off the cap. It was like who could flip it and get the cream to land and scrape off. So kids were playing games, including Menko, with milk caps. That brings us to, I don't know if I can say this. I've been practicing, but none of the practice helped. Halakala Dairy, I think it's Halakala, was a dairy in Hawaii, right? So they stopped selling those milk bottles with the cardboard caps in 1955. But because they knew the caps were so popular with kids to play Menko with and milk caps, flipping them, they kept making caps and just selling them or releasing them as a promotional item.
Can you imagine what it would be like to be a Hawaiian cow? Do you think it's better than being a cow in like Wisconsin?
I don't know.
I think it might be.
That's a great question.
I think I'd rather be a Hawaiian cow than a person in the 48 contiguous U.S. states.
You may be right. Milk caps, good for playing Menko. Menko, very popular in Hawaii. Halakala Dairy keeps making milk caps and releasing them as a promotional item. So it's like you buy your milk and it comes with the cap just so kids can play with it. Then, that same dairy, they expanded out of just milk and started selling fruit juices. One of the juices they invented was called Pog juice, P-O-G. It stands for passion fruit, orange, guava, sometimes called Passaguave juice, which is what we have today. It's not the Halakala Dairy brand. I couldn't get my hands on that. This
is the off-brand.
Sort of. But it's generic. Anyone can make orange juice. Anyone can make Pog juice. It's not like a copyrighted name for juice. So it was invented by someone named Mary Soon for Halakala Dairy in 1971. They were making the milk caps, so they made milk caps that had the logo for Pog juice on them in the 70s. So there were a lot of these round discs that said the word Pog on them that kids are playing Menko with. Milk caps kind of die out and aren't that popular for about 2 decades after the 70s, until 1991 when a woman named Blossom Galbiso, who was a teacher and a guidance counselor, which I think is kind of funny that she had to do both jobs.
It was the 90s.
Right. At Waialua Elementary School in Oahu, Hawaii, she introduced this game to her students. She was like, hey guys, when I was a kid, we played with these milk caps. It was this big thing. And it was supposedly to help them learn math, but you don't really count much in Pogs, so I don't know how that makes sense.
Maybe she had made like special Pogs.
Maybe.
She probably used it out of her own budget to make these special Pogs.
I don't think she made them. I think she was getting these Meadow Gold or Halakala, whatever it's called.
She probably put different math facts on them,
like a plus sign, maybe. So she introduces Pogs to her elementary school students in 1991 in Hawaii. Somehow, I think Hawaii's culture is very tight-knit and things travel fast. It exploded and everyone in Hawaii was playing with milk caps again. But it was kind of retro.
Okay.
Okay, like when yo-yos came back in the 90s, but it's really like a toy from the 50s. This is like a thing from the Edo period coming back in the 90s for some reason.
You are so gleeful about this. You're so happy.
I'm thrilled about the weird backstory to Pogs. Because it's so easy to just dismiss them and be like, weird cardboard we paid for. But this is a pretty interesting story, I think. Maybe I'm not telling it in an interesting way. Anyway, so Pogs go everywhere in Hawaii. They then get to the west coast of the continental United States, and then they just kept going and became a nationwide phenomenon. And part of that reason is a Canadian company called the Canada Games Company. They were like, oh, this is getting big. So they teamed up with Halakala. I keep saying it a different way. That dairy that made the Pog branded milk caps. They teamed up with them, and that's why we call milk caps Pogs, because those special ones with the Pog Juice logo were the ones that the Canada Games Company teamed up with them, and then they were selling them internationally then. And there was a whole crazy thing, this company called the World Pog Federation was founded. They went bankrupt 3 years later because this was a short-lived fad. But it was a whole thing, there was a lawsuit over the name Pog. Was it generic or was it not to describe a milk cap? All this crazy stuff. A lot of companies sold Pogs, but because the product itself is generic, it's literally just a cardboard disc with a picture on it. There's Pog brand ones, there's knockoff ones. Companies would get licensing deals, The Simpsons, Looney Tunes, Power Rangers, anything that was popular in the 90s is on a Pog. Pogs then were a really popular promotional giveaway item, so I have some McDonald's Pogs here to show you today. You would just get them for free with your Happy Meal or whatever. They'd be handing them out because it's so cheap to make. They were super hot from 1993 to 1995. We were very young, but my brother was into it, my cousins were into it, so I was into it, even though we were kind of young for it. and then it just died out so fast. The Canada Games Company was gone by 1997. Like,
oh wow,
they went bankrupt, you know, because literally they invested all their money in Pogs instead of the board games and card games they had been making, because they're like, this is it, it's all Pogs from now on, and then nobody wanted Pogs anymore.
Guys, it's Pogs.
Because they're so dumb if you think about it. Like, it's the dumbest product. And then Crazy Bones shows up like a year later, and same thing. We already did an episode.
It's just hard Pogs.
Yeah, basically. Well, they hadn't molded it, so go listen to our Crazy Bones episode, or go watch it.
Or don't.
It's a good one. Okay, so here's what you need to know. There are the milk cap type Pogs. There's a 1994 McDonald's California Pog. But then there's also slammers, which are like a Pog. We'll have to open them in a second, but like much thicker and hard plastic. They're not cardboard. Okay? They're metal or plastic.
So those are the ones I used to like flick at my sister.
Did you have one with a sawtooth pattern or no?
I don't think so.
Those are controversial.
I didn't know how those worked.
Okay.
So I would just like throw them at my sister.
We're gonna get to it. You need to play. Every player needs one slammer, and then you bring a bunch of your regular milk cap Pogs with you. There was also a toy that came out in 1995 called the Milk Cap Maker, which let you make your own Pogs, which I thought was the coolest thing ever. And it was like a little press. It had these blank ones, and it had like sticky stuff. So here's a Pog of me from probably around that era.
Let me see this picture.
It's a really unflattering picture.
It's not a good picture.
But
why
it's
would
like,
you take it from down up?
I don't know. My parents gave me a disposable camera. I'm like a little kid. I'm like 3 or 4. And then, you know, I wanted to make me into a Pog. So that was cool. Just as a side note, I've been looking forward to this episode since we started the podcast 2 years ago or whenever, but I keep meaning to find mine and my brother's Pogs. We had a big collection in like a big like pencil case kind of thing.
Like of all your parents' retirement money?
Yeah, in Pog form. I'm sure they can sell them. They can. But it's missing. My parents hold on to everything, and no one can find this case of Pogs, and I'm suspicious they got rid of it.
I think they threw it out.
Which is fine. I was able to get a few of the homemade Pogs and one of our Pogs. I don't know when I grabbed these or found them, but they've been in our basement for a while. So, here's how I want to run this episode. It is a video. I should have said that at the beginning. If you want to watch it on YouTube, go ahead. There's a link in this description. It's also audio if you're watching and want to hear it instead. I don't know why you would do that. You can find us on our podcast feed. We have a picture of Pog juice, Paso Guave juice, and I think we should try it. I've never had this. I didn't know this existed until this research. So, Kate, let's give it a shot. The color is very unappealing.
It's kind of like a cloudy grapefruit color.
Yeah.
All right, don't give me too much.
Yeah, we just are going to try a little bit of Pog juice. I had to get this from a powdered packet because I ordered some liquid Pog juice from Hawaii, but they canceled my order on me, so.
It was probably due to COVID.
It could have been a COVID-related thing. So we made this from powder. I don't know if it's as good. Cheers. Let's see if this is any good. The origin of Pog juice. You ever had passion fruit or guava?
I think guava.
You're really sniffing it.
I'm trying to get the...
Suspiciously. What do you think?
Tastes like a watery candy.
Yeah, it's very sweet. I mean, it's like any fruit juice. I don't hate it, but I sure don't love it.
Don't look at how much sugar is in it.
Is it more than like a normal fruit juice?
It's 21 grams of sugar.
Per serving?
Per
pouch.
Serving.
How many servings are in the pouch?
4.
Well, now that this is good. It'll recreate the experience of being a kid in the mid-90s, getting sugared up and then playing Pogs. Then, just like our Crazy Bones episode, I really wanted you to get the experience of like being a kid at the time. So I wanted you to open some Crazy Bones. I could not remember how you bought Pogs. I remember having them, but I don't remember how they, arrived because I was so young. So I went on eBay and I found an unopened pack of Pogs. Can you describe it?
It says Power Caps. Collect all 40. Oh, there are Power Rangers. Hooray.
And of course, it's in a blind package, so you don't know which Pogs you're getting. Totally gambling for kids. Yep, this is how they came. For anyone else like me who cannot remember how Pogs are packaged, this is, a blind pack from 1995. It's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It's got the White Ranger on the front. Go ahead and rip that open and let's see what we got.
It's all Power Rangers, though.
Yeah, but
you know what you got.
There's 40 different Pogs you could get.
There's not 40 different Power Rangers characters.
No, but maybe they have Bert and Ernie.
What?
Not Bert and Ernie. Maybe they have Bulk and Skull. Oh, and we got one Slammer.
I got a How to Play.
All right, look, that's
I
great.
got a Slammer.
Yep.
It only has one thing on it, though.
What's on the Slammer?
I think it'll be on both sides.
Kate, they're cheaping out. What's on the Slammer? Can you show it to the
It's
camera?
like a holographic Egyptian snake. All right, so here's who we got. I've got Fishman. Tell me who that is.
Oh, it's like a villain who looks like a big fish.
Okay. We got Bugman. Legosaurus.
What is? It's fun. I don't even remember all of these. It's like a red dragon.
Oh, look, their names are on it. It's the Red Dragon Thunder Zord.
Oh, they tell you?
Who's Manfish?
Oh, in the back. So this is Commander Crayfish.
This is Piranha's head. This is stupid. This is Kimberly and Billy.
What are they doing?
They're just hanging out.
Look, they're like training and stretching in a park.
Well, this is like super buff Adam.
I love that you know enough about Power Rangers now that you actually know who these characters are as a result of the show.
Zed.
Oh, we got Zed.
This is Master Logo. Oh, it's just the logo.
It's not a character, it's literally.
And this is the Lion Thunder Zord.
Ooh. Here's a package of promotional Pogs from a McDonald's in California. Also gotten on eBay because
did we pay money for these?
We sure did. You got the Hamburglar. You got, one of those like old-fashioned looking McDonald's with the arches on the side. The Grimace with, he's on roller skates with a milkshake and sunglasses. These are great.
These are terrible.
Just the logo, the golden arches with a soccer ball for some reason. We got Ronald. Is this the whole set? It says 6 of 8 on one of them. We might have them all here. Ronald McDonald. Oh no, Mac Tonight. So Mac Tonight is really interesting. Do you remember this from childhood at all? I think it predates us.
No, babe.
So he was in commercials, right? And the joke is Mac the Knife, but he's Mac Tonight, a guy with a big moon head and sunglasses who plays piano because McDonald's was staying open later than normal. But I think lately online he's been claimed by the alt-right for some reason. So it's a shame because he's got a really cool design. And
what won't the alt-right?
I know. Here's a package of Kool-Aid Pogs. These are official Pogs. I don't think any of these other ones are. The Power Rangers were not.
Kool-Aid Pogs?
Yeah, these are from, the legit Pog branding. Go ahead and you have to actually pop them off.
Ooh, I can pop them out?
Yeah, they're just in the cardboard.
I love to pop things out of packaging, so you can use.
All right, look, there's a Kool-Aid Slammer with the Kool-Aid Man.
These don't smell good.
I mean, they've been sealed for
the Slammer.
Our entire life.
The big man.
So yeah, we got this great, shiny Kool-Aid Man Slammer.
How do you pop them out?
It does say the big man.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't need the cardboard underneath.
Look, ready?
Whoa. Woo! Okay, that just flew across the room.
Woohoo!
Oh, jeez. Guys, help.
Oh my god, I love popping stuff out of packaging.
I knew you'd like this.
Woo!
Oh, these all say Pog on them. Interesting. So they're self-promoting while promoting Kool-Aid. Also, isn't this a little too on the nose of kids buy Pogs, drink the Kool-Aid?
Yes, baby. Hold on, I gotta get my Pogs.
All right, so these are all sort of holographic foil designs. I'm loving it. Pog milk caps for ages 5 and up. It's a limited edition set.
We were definitely eating these at age 3.
Okay, and last but not least, the
custom
Pogs.
Pogs.
Before the custom, here's the one Pog that's not custom that I found that we used to have. It's Porky Pig.
It's just Porky Pig, guys. Porky
Holographic.
Pig. Why?
And then Kate, the rest of these I made myself as a child. And you have to remember, anything you wanted to put on a Pog, you just had to have on paper or photograph, and then you put it through the machine and it sticks. Over. So why don't you show these off? Actually, I'm gonna stack our Pogs.
Here's an ugly Tyler, little baby. You are actually a very cute baby.
Wow, thanks.
Here's a comic strip that's been cut out, but it's not of anything.
It's not centered in any way.
It's not helpful.
Yeah.
Here's the top of a lighthouse. This is very...
I must have taken that on a trip.
Very Willem Dafoe.
So newsprint was easy because it's so plentiful.
Here's a little drawing of what I assume is a robot with horns.
That is definitely supposed to be a Megazord. That is our custom Power Rangers drawing.
Here's your older cousin and your brother with an Easter basket.
I believe we're Easter egg hunting, yeah.
Here's just a picture of a homemade Easter cake that you've made into a Pog. Why? It's a very 90s cake, though. Anything with jelly beans on it, very 90s. This is just, I'm assuming, is another robot.
It looks to me, that looks like a homemade
birthday
castle.
Cake.
I would wager, but I don't know.
Here's a picture of your older cousin with either a Lil Playmate cooler or an Easter basket. Can't tell.
Could be both. Why not use your cooler as an Easter basket?
A little homemade drawing.
That's a person, maybe?
Oh, here's a bunch of cellophane wrapped Peeps.
Yeah, this is definitely an Easter basket. You're seeing a theme here that I must have had a disposable camera on Easter.
It's funny.
And then had those photos.
Here's Garfield.
To make into Pogs.
Oh, this one actually feels like me.
What is it? Oh. It's like, I think it's a dinosaur of some sort. It's this weird little worm guy.
Actually, wait.
Hand-drawn.
I think this might be me whenever I do the podcast.
Let's see. Uh-oh. Oh man, it's like a little Dennis the Menace from the newspaper sighing. Just with
timeout.
A thought balloon that
Another
says sigh.
little comic guy.
Yeah, more comic strips.
Here's you taking a picture with your mom, but it's just your mom's torso, which is really funny.
Classic. I wanted me on this Pog, obviously, not her, so I cut her out. And this final one is, me with a little inflatable Easter bunny guy with some cool sunglasses on. I would like to look at this drawing, though. What? This is so low effort.
It's not Pog worthy.
It's like, you're right. It's like a square. It's like a mailbox, maybe. It's really...
It's like you started out strong with pictures and like
look,
a really well-centered, like existential sadness Pog. And then you were like, ugh, I gotta make more Pogs. And you're like, I just draw it.
Yeah, I wonder if there was like, I wanted to do a whole sheet. I don't know how they were packaged. I can't recall. All right, so you ready to play the game?
Yeah.
So that was the main fun of Pogs for me. Just getting them, making them was really cool, and then just looking at them like you did, you and your sister. But if you're gonna play for real, you make all your Pogs, you and your friends all put your Pogs in a stack. You decide if you're playing for keeps or not. Risky, because you will cry if you lose your favorite Pog.
Are we gonna play for keeps now?
Yes. And you would all put them in a stack. It's important that they're upside down, which is why the back of the Pogs are usually so clearly marked. Okay, we got a nice wobbly stack here.
It does look pretty wobbly.
Then you pick a slammer. So what would you like your slammer to be? The Power Rangers?
Hold on,
or the Kool-Aid Man?
Oh, this one is significantly heavier. I'm going with this one.
The Power Rangers? Okay, so then what you do is you get your slammer, you line it up above the stack, and then you just throw it down at the stack.
Throw it.
Okay, so you just whip it down onto the stack. Whichever Pogs flip face up, you get to keep. Okay. And then the ones that are face down still, we add back to the stack and just keep alternating turns until the stack is empty.
All right.
Ready?
I hope I get Piranha. What's his name?
I don't know.
Piranhas.
I hope you get Dennis the Menace sighing and in timeout.
I think it's Marvin, that other baby.
Oh, I don't even see. I don't know. I don't know my newspaper comic strips well because I had television.
Because you were illiterate.
Yeah.
What?
Ready?
Do I do it now?
Yeah. Good. Yep.
Like this.
Yep. And then go up and just drop it. Your hand can't
do I
touch
drop
the
it or do I slam it?
You can throw it, but your hand can't touch the stack of Pogs.
How far do I have to go up?
I don't know.
Is there like a...
I mean, you have the instructions literally right in front of you.
Okay.
Does it say anything about that? I don't know.
Throw it on the stack using only the first and second fingers.
That was tournament appropriate. Ah! Look at that. So,
well, none of them went anywhere.
Yeah, none of them landed face up, so way to go.
Wait, can I have a do-over?
Nope, you get to go after I go. What if I turn them all face up in one go? Like I said, I'm no expert at this. I did not really play, I just looked. I lightly touched the stack.
Even more than me.
But not a single one moved. Wow.
This blows. I hate the 90s.
Can you believe we did this for fun? Oh my goodness.
Do anything.
I hit it, but then nothing flipped. Guys.
Haunted Pogs.
I can't believe it. Okay, now we're talking. Your slammer ended up on the floor.
This is where your dad would have stuck his head out and been like, hey, you okay there?
You guys all right? Okay, you got your wish. You got Piranhatis head. Piranhatis head? I don't know. He's number 23 out of 40 of Power Rangers.
Piranha had his head.
Sure.
He's got a piranha hat on his head.
You also got Commander Crayfish.
Yes.
Billy and Kimberly.
Just standing there.
Tommy is probably jealous.
Billy and Kimberly standing there like just regular kids. Why would you make this?
And
I guess regular kids don't walk around like that. Kimberly's shorteralls though, killing it.
You got the Kool-Aid Pog #1.
Yes. I'm rich.
Copyright 1995.
I get to go again now?
No. I get to go. You always alternate. I don't get it.
This is going to hit me in the eye.
It is. So mine just flipped all over. Not a single Pog again. I'm really bad at this.
Nothing?
You moved a bunch, but none of them flipped. There's this motion where you get the slammer to hit just right. It'll flip the very top one.
Okay.
The rebound. There we go, see? Oh, I got the lame drawing that doesn't look like anything.
It's like a half chicken wing.
Hey.
Look at it. Maybe it's like a ham. Maybe you drew your favorite thing as a child. Ham. You did love ham, didn't you?
I mean, I enjoyed ham, not more than any other kid. I don't think. Oh, wow. The whole stack's moving. You knocked over almost every single Pog, but not a flip. It's better than me. I've been not even knocking them over. All right. right, I'm gonna stand up this time and see if that gives me a little more force.
Is that gonna work?
I don't know.
What if it hits me in the eye? Oh god.
Man, none are flipping. So look, I guess this could keep you busy for a while.
It could.
Picture you're trying to keep your kids busy so you can send an email or whatever people did in the 90s. Ah, yeah. So it seems to me,
it's a coup.
When you throw them hard enough to fly off the table, you flip some Pogs over.
All right, who I got?
You got.
I got Robot with Horns.
Homemade Megazord card.
I got Grumpy Kid. Oh, and I got another Grumpy Kid. That's just you with a bunny.
Hey. I loved that bunny. I was not grumpy.
You look pretty grumpy.
Can't believe my wife is beating me at Pogs and she's never even had Pogs, really.
Pog Wunderkind.
Wow. Nothing. You know, the Pog juice gets better the more you drink it.
Does it? Or do you just like Stockholm Syndrome the Pog juice?
My tongue is so sweetened by sugar that I can't tell how things taste anymore.
That was a complete whiff.
That was a whiff.
And you may have dented our tables. Your life is forfeit.
Ooh. Now, it's still face down.
Well, shot out of the middle though.
I know, that was shocking. It's the Hamburglar Pog. I hope you get Mac tonight so I can claim that you're in the alt-right.
Oh my god.
Alright.
Oh.
Now who whiffed now?
I know.
Alright.
I'm getting worse as time goes on. These Pogs are kind of like cool and smooth in your hand. It makes me want to eat one. Like a mint.
That's why your parents didn't buy them for you. When the neighbors brought them, they're like, no.
Don't buy
She cannot control her urge to eat Pogs. It's a forbidden snack.
I gotta curate my collection over here.
Yeah, you have a great collection. I'm jealous.
I like putting them back in their stack.
Very orderly. I have a feeling I'm going to lose here.
You think? Be like a little...
Yeah, I mean, I think if the slammer were to rotate a little, it might... Or not. Hey, you cannot use wind to your advantage. I got 3 Pogs. Hamburglar, Garfield, and the legendary Easter cake.
You know what? This was actually kind of fun. This was more fun than Crazy Bones.
What? Even flicking them across at each other?
Yeah, it hurt my finger.
Oh, sorry.
Here's what I liked. I liked putting them in their neat stack.
Yes.
And then I liked throwing my thing.
Okay.
There's like also that element of surprise, like which one are you gonna get? Are you gonna get the sucky homemade robot Pog, or are you gonna get Billy and Kimberly standing in a park, you know?
Yeah.
Or my favorite, my personal favorite. Piranha's head.
You know what's even better? I think somewhere at my parents' house there's a toy of that guy, and it's got like a rubbery fish texture to it. All right, so you kind of enjoyed parts of it. But would you ever, I mean, imagine paying for these.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever pay for them.
What was wrong with parents in the 90s?
Let's ask your parents.
That they were like, sure, we'll buy these Pogs.
What was wrong with you? They probably just wanted to stop you from talking.
Yeah, I guess so. If I have some Pogs, I can go off in the corner and, throw stuff at a stack. Fair. Well, I thought we were playing for keeps. We put our Pogs all back in the stack. You don't want to keep Piranha's?
I'll keep him in my heart.
All right.
I'll remember him fondly.
Tell us what other fads from the 90s we can explore next. We're running out of them because we got Crazy Bones and Pogs. Oh no, don't flick the slammer into the stack, Kate. Don't do it.
Part Crazy Bone, part Pog. Part Crazy Bone, part Pog. It's Crazy Pog.
She's a lunatic.
Crazy Pogs!
All right, we got to get out of here. So thanks for watching or listening. You can recommend what we should do next by leaving a comment on this YouTube video, by sending a voicemail to the podcast. There's a link in the description to do that. By sending us an email, Not-Stalgia@AOL.com. By finding us on social media. We'll be getting a lot of messages on Twitter, Instagram, even Facebook. We really should close the Facebook.
Yeah, nobody uses Facebook anymore.
Anyway, we're on all of those. You can find us there. You can go to our website, www.notstalgia.org.
Newsflash! It's a Pog milk cap invasion. Milk cap sightings are pouring in by the thousand. The cause is anyone's guess.
It's the official World Pog Federation milk cap maker. For the first time ever, you can make your own milk caps. It's cool because it's totally easy. Just load in the picture, line it up, twist, and bam! Make the world's biggest, coolest collection. It's a Pog milk cap invasion.
And in the weather.
The official World Pog Federation milk cap maker. From Cap Toys, who else?